Hi students, so this is our first lesson in cultural geography. Our class has a textbook called Human Geography. I have my loose leaf edition of it right here. And human geography and cultural geography, these are synonymous terms because in cultural geography class, we of course are going to look at maps, we're going to look at the surface of the earth, we're going to look at elevations and latitude and longitude and all kinds of different flow maps and different things that contribute to our discussion about humanity, but we're really studying humanity. This is a class about ourselves and the way that we function in our daily lives. And so human geography and cultural geography, those are synonymous terms. And I have a notes page on the board behind me, if you can look at that. Just some basic things to remember about cultural geography or human geography, that when we talk as geographers, when we investigate our field, we try to understand humans through the lens of what place do those humans exist? What's the location like? How much space or what is space like around them? Because our mental map, our mental concept of our place in the world has to do with the characteristics of our location and our environment and the education level that we have, the climate that we come from, the fields that we're interested in. Geography itself is a holistic discipline, and so cultural geography, which focuses on the ways that humans create their spaces and interact with their geography, you can have any sort of interest as an academic individual. You can be in the engineering program or a sociology major or a finance major or plan to be a homemaker, and geography has a whole lot to do with what you plan to do with the rest of your life. We have a lens where we look at the region, we look at the place, the location, we look at the way humans interact with our environment, and we look at the way humans move and think and communicate and transport things. We look at the way humans regard their local environment, the global connectivity that humans have with each other, whether they're interested in arts and sciences, music, finance, all of these things that I have mentioned, we study in our human geography or cultural geography class. So that's what the word holistic means for geography. And I encourage you to look through the table of contents for our geography book. We can't cover every single chapter in this textbook in our semester together, but we cover most of them. And we move from topics like, at first we're just going to cover the basic question why of where that we ask in cultural geography, and differentiate it from other humanities that you might study. But also we look at things like population and movement and migration and politics and religion and just social identity and development and food getting strategies. There's going to be so many different topics that we look at this semester and try to gain insight into the way that we behave, our human behavior, and what the world has to offer. And so it's a very exciting course. It's very interesting. I hope that you will agree with me when we get deeper into the topics. One word that I have on the board back behind me, or on the notes page behind me, is the word vector. And this has a great deal to do with geography. You'll read in the first section of the first chapter, you'll read about a disease called cholera that is not very commonly known about anymore in our country. We've almost eradicated it. Don't let me say we eradicated it, but we almost don't have to worry about cholera in our country. But in other places of the world, cholera, which is spread through the water supply mostly, and from contact that we would have with somebody who is infected with cholera, cholera spreads through an infectious organism that can be transmitted from animals to humans, from human to human, from water resources in the environment. These kinds of things are an interesting focus in geography class, and we address the cholera pandemic in the first chapter, the first section of the first chapter of our required reading for this class, which is our textbook. So please focus on that and consider the section that you're reading about how cholera spread. We're going to be revisiting that in a future lecture and look at what vectors mean. We all lived through the COVID lockdowns, and part of the reason the lockdown was the strategy to try to protect everybody from it was because of this concept of vector, which is something that we focus on and study a lot, origins of things and how things spread and get transmitted from one place to the next. So in this first group of lessons, you've learned in this one that, what human geography is and how we can look at all these different facets of it in this geography wheel that I have over here. Anything that you're interested in can be looked at and better understood, more deeply understood through a geography lens if you do that along with the lens that your content area encourages you to use. You'll have a better and a deeper understanding of your field. And so in future lessons in this particular folder, we're going to look at the difference between local concepts and global concepts and how that shapes the world around us. We definitely have a globalized or a globalizing world where we can find foods from any culture and we can find languages and we can be on Discord server or some kind of role-playing game with somebody from South Korea and somebody from Vietnam and somebody from Dubai and Kenya, all at the same time, and we're connected to these people, and the world is increasingly a smaller place when you look at communication pathways and you look at transportation and the way we can overcome great distances by the modern globalized means of food production and communication through Web 2 and soon to be Web 3, the Internet of Value, for instance, that is part of the communication and economics on the horizon. So there's so many different ways we can look at our cultural geography class. It's a very interesting concept and a group of concepts to think about. Please take some time to look at the table of contents, like I mentioned. And before you write a reflection journal, don't do it just on this particular video, but watch the rest of the videos in this lesson folder. They all go together and introduce you to some of the concepts that we're going to focus on in this class, and then consider doing your first reflection journal. Definitely don't skip that quiz. The quiz in this folder is quiz 2, so definitely don't skip that quiz. And I will see you in the next video. Take good notes and make sure you keep track of those notes because you're going to use them for our first unit assignment that comes up at the end of this module. Text me with questions. My number's in Blackboard. I'll see you next time.